So,
I'm Morgan Mills,
And I'm Emily Long.
and we are proposing the idea of having a job shadowing class. This would provide the students to have like a basic knowledge of like, oh, I really like this field going into, and it has been proven that 90% of students have had this opportunity. Helps them decide what like field they want to go into after college.
I think the class would be really beneficial because my summer before junior year, I had the opportunity to actually apprentice at Lexington Children's Theater, and so it really helped me like explore my love for theater even more, and it helped me realize that I really enjoy doing more of the backstage work than actually acting itself. So I think it could be really helpful for us as a school to have it, so kids were being more prepared and be more like specific about what they wanted to do when they go to college.
What's the question?
90% of the students.
That have had this opportunity, like at other schools around the country, they have said that this opportunity gave them an idea of what they want to go into to study in college.
Where did that statistic come from?
Yes, it was from an academic website that we looked up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact.
What about LCA students? How do they feel about it?
We did a poll, and 100% of the students that we asked said they would like to participate in this class if it was offered. And I know it's not 100%, but like out of, I don't know how many we had, like 30 or 40, they said that they all would, but there's probably a few that actually, so it's probably more like 95% of LCU students.
Good.
How many were in this study?
It was about 30 or 35, 40-ish. It was around there.
What about the logistics of this when during the day that?
So it would be 7th hour, and basically it'd be offered to juniors second semester and seniors both semesters. And so they would drive to locations that we would ask to partner with the school, and they would work for an hour. So at the end of 6th hour, they would drive to the location, and then the person, whoever works at the company that we work with, would say that they're here and tell the school, so that we're like kids aren't skipping or just going home or things like that. So they would be aware of what's going on.
When you say an hour, let's say class is out 2:20, it takes 20 minutes to drive there, so now it's 2:40. So if they actually stay an hour, it's 3:40. Do you think students would be willing to commit to those extra 20 minutes?
We like in our idea, it would just be locations around the school, because there's like a dentist office across the street. There's a eye doctor. There's a bunch of different retails. There's a theater, business, and there's like so many opportunities so close to the school that it wouldn't. Sometimes it might take longer. Like there's a few that are farther away, but it shouldn't take more than like 10 minutes to drive there. So as soon as they got there, it started an hour till then. So it wouldn't be that much after 3:20. So that's just part of the job, or not the job course, but like this course requirement.
So would you propose regulating the time frame though that would be acceptable? Like right now, if the bell rings and you're not in class, then you're late for class. Because couldn't a student technically say, well, I got stuck in traffic and not show up for 30 minutes to a workplace? How would you regulate that?
It would basically just be like, not like a tardy slip, but like, since it's so close, you know it's not going to take 30 minutes for them to get there. Like if it's across the street, it's going to take you 5, 10 at the very most. So it would just have to be like, maybe depending on the location, how long, like you have 20 minutes to get to the office building down the street. That's like a little bit farther than across the street at Cincinnati Optical. So it's just based on like the business and where it is.
So if I sign up for this class, let's say that I start working for an eye doctor and I realize that I have a real just hatred for working as an eye doctor or working at a place like this. What do I do for the rest of the semester? Am I stuck?
It would probably be mostly like our pass-fail courses. and like most courses, like you have so long to change your schedule after that. Like at the beginning of the year, you have a week or two to change your course. So you have like a week or two to figure out like, can I work here for a whole semester? Will it actually be beneficial for me? And then you go from there.
And the people that you talked to, did any of them express concern about getting back to school? Or let's say, I don't know, they were maybe involved in a drama club or something like that and had to come back for practice? See what I did there?
I see what you did there, yeah. It's good.
Did they have any concerns about being able to do back and forth and not missing any of that?
Not that any of them expressed to us, but I feel like that'd be another thing that it would be like to the coaches or the head of the theater club, something like that, that they would get to have a conversation and be like, this is a class I'm taking, and kind of school comes before the extracurricular type of thing.
Okay. So, and then take me to the setup of the locations. So that seems to be the biggest spot. Like if you ask me as the principal of the high school, what's your biggest headache with the job shadowing? I would tell you, well, I've got 115 approximately seniors. Let's say they all wanted to do it, which would be absolutely awesome if they all wanted to do it. But that just means I have to rephrase. There needs to be 115 locations for them to be able to be at. And now you're including juniors for half the year. That just doubled our number.
Yes.
So talk to me through that part about finding the spots and how do you know when they're there, what they're doing, what they're supposed to be doing.
It would actually regulate for 2 students per space, because if you get more than like 2 or 3, then it would make them more chatty and they wouldn't be as more productive. So there would be 2 students per place, and it's basically in a like couple miles. How many miles was it? Like
10.
I don't know. It was like a few miles radius, because there's so many different options. Like there's Simpson Optical, but down the street on Nicholsville Road, there's also another iPlace. So it would just depend on how many students actually sign up, because not all 110 seniors actually have room in their schedule to do it. So it also kind of be like an office aide. You can't have 10 office aides per hour, so it just gets limited like first come first served per
But
business.
I understand that. Who's doing that is my question to you. So you brought up Simpson right across the street. That's great. Who's making the connection with them, and do we even know if they would be open to it? But I could say that for any location that you choose. We could pick the AT&T store that's up the road, or the jewelry store, or whatever. I mean, who's doing that? Who's making those connections?
We thought it would be a good idea to either have like the college counselor or the juniors and seniors, or someone else in the office staff who is able to like go out, make phone calls, and go meet with the people at that business to make those connections, to make sure that they're willing to have students come work at their workplace, and that the environment would be right to have students there. And then so it would kind of be the college counselor's job to regulate, make sure the students are attending, and even if there was some way for us to set up a way for the employees at the business to even connect the school and be like, look, they're here, if there was a way to get them on RenRev or something like that. So it's an easy way to communicate back and forth.
And
That's it. Go ahead.
And at the very beginning, you could start with people that have partnered with LCA, like Greer and Magrid, since they've already shown that, yes, we want to do stuff with LCA, we want to support some of the things that they're doing. You can be like, well, one of the things we want to start doing is job shadowing, and then get that connection that we already have and just build on top of that.
You said you.
Something.
Talking about me?
No, just
No, it can't be. See, that's what I'm saying. But it can't be the school. This is a great idea, okay? But it can't be the school, because the school is not an entity in of itself that can make that connection. So that's why I say, you said college counselors. Would that be what you would say?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
So-
they would just be like, if you wanted to start small, like start with the businesses that we already have supporting our school and go from
Absolutely.
there.
Yeah. So somebody has to make the contact.
Mhm.
Have you spoken with the college counselors? Do you know if they have any margin in their schedule to do this very thing?
We have not spoken to the college council.
Okay. Very good.
One other question, do any of the other high schools locally do this already? That you know of, that there might be a conflict of, hey, there's 100 seniors coming from that school, this school, and they're flooding these places? Or do you have any idea on that?
I have not really heard of any that do it locally, but I know there's some like in a few states, I don't know, I can't remember which ones, that actually do this and it benefits their students.
Yeah, that's great. Good idea.
How do I know when they're on site that they're actually learning something that's valuable?
That's when we were trying to figure out if they can connect to RenWeb and do the same thing that the teachers do, like just say they're present and it automatically gives it to the office that they're not skipping their last hour and that they're actually showing up. But ultimately it would probably be up to the offices how much if they're actually learning, because that's the point of the job shadowing, is to be in that environment and learn what they do for a day-to-day basis. So whether it's just watching like whatever they do at Cincinnati School based on like filing or actually doing appointments or whatever. But I know like some of the things are more like what's the word? Like private and stuff like that. So some of those things would be restricted, but they can always like, oh, this person's here for their appointment, and get a little bit of an idea of how it goes on from day to day.
So I worked in a lab one summer. It was not glamorous work, but at the end of it, I still had to present this to get my grade or to get my final grade in the class. I had to put together a synopsis of what I'd done for the previous 3 months as I had been working in that lab. Would you be open to that type of project, to where you would say, hey, this is what, thank you for letting me go, this is what I learned, and specifically this is what I learned that I would not have learned had I been in school during this particular time? Would you guys be open to something like that?
Yeah, we thought about that a little more of like on a paper basis, like they would have to write a paper about their experiences and stuff like that. But like
their final.
yeah, and kind of catering, it would also depend where they choose to work, because some places they could like show them how they learn how to schedule an appointment or stuff like that. So like have a day set out where maybe they stay longer in an hour and just prove all the work that they put on.
Good. Yep. We're about done on time, aren't we?
You're done? Yep.
All right.